All right. So, thank you everyone for joining in, and I'll start with introducing Project Pavitra. So, the Art of Living Social Projects team initiated this project. Karuna, my boss here, it was her brainchild along with a lot of others who really supported us conceptualizing it. So, around last year, at the International Women's Conference that we have, it was launched from that stage. And initially, our thought was that we are designing a project, a menstrual health and hygiene awareness module, a 3-day module, on very similar lines as the Navchetna Shiva that we have. Because this training had everything, knowledge of Ayurveda, yoga, and a little bit of chanting. Apart from the Kriya, it had everything that the Art of Living generally teaches. And it was targeted at rural adolescent girls. Yeah, so we had a set TG, a set income group, a set geography, a set age group in our mind, right? But as we went along, we found out that not only is this very universal, but also across income groups, across age groups, in fact, more in the cities, because of the lifestyles that we now have. This worked well, and it caught on, and everybody connected, and it really started working for across age groups, across income groups. So now it has evolved into a holistic health and hygiene awareness program with a focus on menstrual hygiene as well. So on these 3 different days, I think some of you may have attended the training. If not, these 3 days have different themes. For example, we speak about growth and nutrition. We speak about the process of menstruation, the facts about it, the biology, the hard facts, and then we go on to talk about menstrual hygiene and practices and myth busting. So it's a very well-rounded project, which actually, I'll begin with my experience as to how it is different from all other projects that at least have been going on in India in this particular area. So somehow it has been so found so that all the other projects focus largely on infrastructural but our project is different and more. I think it has reached so many people, and it has become what it has become because it reaches for a deeper level of understanding. It recognizes that this topic has been shrouded in silence for way too long, because women themselves have a very negative approach, a very negative mindset towards it, and hence their further experiences around this have not been pleasant, right? Because they take it as a problem. So our approach was to change this mindset through the power of knowledge, not push any particular stream of thought. We give different cultural practices. We do not condemn any particular practice. For example, the usage of cloth napkins, and considering the diverse demographic that we have in India, the diverse levels, the diverse cultural beliefs, there are a lot of people who would for us people living in towns and having access to sanitary products, maybe the thought of using or reusing cloth napkins would be absurd, right? But we have found out that it works for people. And in fact, in a study, while research, I found out that rural India, okay, as far as menstrual health on certain parameters is considered. That is because people have to simpler and more comfortable experience. Therefore, this project all of these beliefs, right? They just somehow part of this project also involves changing that decision making capability in women. And because the whole concept, when we were formulating the theory of change and when we were documenting our whole project, we decided that the basic aim for this project was to build a agency amongst women to take their own decisions, to have enough information to know what is right for them. So we are not taking any neither product decisions nor lifestyle decisions for them. Instead, what we are doing is we are giving out as much information as we can through our program about as diverse choices as we can, so that everyone feels included, everyone knows what all is out there, and what are the pros and cons of using different sort of products or having um, uh, is there a problem listening to me again?
No, it's coming out
uh,
No,
very
we can
fine.
hear you.
all right. So like I was saying, so it is very heartening because for me, any project that takes that power of decision making away from the stakeholders kind of strays away from the whole point of it, right? Empowerment is our whole agenda, and therefore to drive it we need to give the power of making the decision to your beneficiaries. That's exactly how this project addresses this issue. It gives a lot of information, it gives a lot of new techniques. For example, there are people who might not have had any exposure to meditation, any exposure to Ayurveda, and these are such simple techniques, they don't involve any extra cost. So every beneficiary feels included. One, they gain a lot of perspective, they develop this sense of making decisions that benefits their particular situation, because having a generic thought about this particular product or this particular lifestyle may work or may not work is something I think that limits any project's point view of achieving the goals. That way our project I think is very very sustainable, because the beneficiaries are being on a very basic yet very effective level being empowered. And this is about the beneficiaries. Then there is a whole new aspect of the trainers that we are creating. So as you all know, these are art of living teachers and volunteers. So they already have, by grace, they already have a lot of motivation for seva, for service. But being women, and not see everyone who's associated with the art of living has an aspiration to be an art of living facilitator, but for their own reasons they might not be there yet. So this becomes very 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 gratifying for them, because they feel they have stepped up for a cause that is close to them, because they all have suffered in their own ways, from lack of information, from complexes, during their own adolescent ages. So now, when they're facilitating these courses, when they're empowering girls, when they're actually seeing their lives change, the trainers have come up with great inspirational and very touching stories of how they feel very uplifted and very empowered after coming out of the training and conducting these courses. So all in all, not only are the beneficiaries, but the facilitators, the ones who are working for it, everyone is experiencing an upliftment, everyone is feeling useful, because for some reason, I mean, I can talk about stats where more than 60% of girls do not know or have never been talked to about menstruation before they get their first period, right? And their only source of information is their mothers, right? Whereas it should be more maybe I mean, I don't mean that mothers are not well informed, but maybe it should come from a more well informed source like teachers, etc. But largely their source of information is their mother. And owing to that and many other cultural taboos, this has been a very hushed and a very silenced topic. So a lot of misconceptions built through, because of which a lot of decisions, career decisions, get stalled. They lose school days, they lose confidence. If, for example, some of our trainers have come up with their experiences about how girls were ready to give up their interest in sports, or they lose work days because they don't feel up to anything. And a lot of early marriages happen because of girls getting their menstruation in the lower income groups. So all of that um, is building up this culture which is somehow anti girls, right? It is contributing to gender bias on a larger level, I would say. So this project, although is focused on menstrual hygiene, but if you look on the at the advocacy level, it is definitely improving the state of women by giving them this very basic the power of decision making for themselves. So I would say that it is working on all levels of existence, as I see it. And we've done amazing work. I would like Karuna Didi to tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Thank you, Sakshi. Hi, everybody. Jay, good day. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Karuna Didi, we can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Okay. Like Sakshi was saying, we introduced this project to the Art of Living volunteer community in India in March 2018, and we've been really touched by the phenomenal response we've received from volunteers, both male as well as female volunteers, through leveraging technology, through using Zoom calls for training Pavitra trainers in diverse parts of the country. We've managed to reach out to over 1,490 bright and dynamic women who have undergone the teacher training program, the training of trainers program for Project Pavitra. We have these facilitators in 24 states and 2 union territories right now, and our complementary workshops for girls have started happening across the country. We've been very, very active in tribal parts of Jharkhand where the new need is very acute. We've been very active in the northeast, in eastern India, especially communities in rural parts of West Bengal. We've managed to reach out to girls and women from different religious backgrounds, and so far we have managed to conduct these complementary training programs for more than 19,700 girls uh, across India. And we're really happy to share that recently we conducted a training of trainers program for our first batch for training trainers in Africa, uh, women art of living teachers and volunteers from 5 countries. 11 of them have become Pavitra trainers, and our first course has already happened, and few more are in the pipeline. We are having our first training of trainer program for creating Pavitra trainers in Nepal, in Kathmandu, tomorrow, which is being facilitated by a volunteer, and Sakshi and I will be taking that session using again Zoom call. We have a TOT scheduled for Art of Living female volunteers in Myanmar. We have requests from volunteers in Dubai and Middle East, especially for migrant women. We also plan to take this to migrant women in Singapore and other parts in the east, in Southeast Asia. And we do believe that through this program, we can make a difference to the lives of girls. In India, it's been very, very positive. we've managed to reach out to girls who normally wouldn't get an opportunity to speak about menstruation, to speak about the changes which are happening in their body when they attain puberty, to ask about how simple things like how to use a sanitary napkin. And there were girls, our trainers report to us that there were girls in their sessions who would say कि I used to feel कि मुझे cancer हो गया है, या I'm sick, or because I didn't listen to my mother, God is punishing me, and this is something really terrible which has happened to me. And you could help a girl, empower her, help her understand that this is part of her biology, and enable her to look after herself better. And this has also opened up avenues for the girls to speak about other things which were bothering them. As a few months into the program, we already started getting requests from our trainers to add another module on good touch, bad touch, on child sexual abuse, because in their sessions what was happening was, for some of these girls from low income community, in government schools, in government aided schools, in urban slums, as well as rural India, some of these girls, once they had this Didi, this mentor who was coming to them, and as you all know, in Art of Living, the way we design our programs, they're very interactive. There's a lot of discussion. There's a opportunity for dialogue. So once they started feeling that there is somebody who is there to listen to them, then they would start talking about other issues that they were having. Very recently, we conducted programs for 1090 girls in Mangalore, and a large number of those girls are Muslims, and many of those girls are facilitator there is also an Art of Living teacher, and she realized that there's something going on. The girls want to speak up, but they're not able to. So what she did was advanced course style. So those of, if there's anybody who hasn't taken an Art of Living silence program, so we do have a basket where you could anonymously leave your questions, and the facilitator would answer those questions. So this Pavitra trainer in Mangalore used that technique, and she found that a lot of girls had asked questions about what to do and what should be their approach if there is molestation happening, or if incest is happening, or if their parents are asking them to sleep with the uncle who's coming from overseas and bringing presents. So we've realized that this platform, this network of volunteers that we are creating in developing world right now, through this network of volunteers, right now we are reaching out to the girls with information and knowledge about menstrual health and hygiene. We could always tap into this network and take to them other modules as well, like leadership development modules, self-defense modules, modules on their legal rights, modules on entrepreneurship. There's so much that we can do by creating this web of relationships of volunteers in very, very deep rural parts of the country. Very recently, from January 2019 to mid-Feb, in Jharkhand, which is a state in central India, very deprived, and a lot of development work is still needed in that state. In the tribal areas, we have our team which was approached by the district administration. The district collector approached us and asked us to conduct Pavitra trainings for over 4,400 girls in residential government schools in villages in and around Ranchi, which is the capital of Jharkhand. And on 19th of February, just this week, I also attended one of those trainings, and I was so touched by the fire which I saw in these volunteers. So there were three Pavitra trainers, Anukriti, Monica, and Sangeeta ji. Two of them are super young, fresh graduates, and Sangeeta ji is a young mom, and they travel 68 kilometers in the rural parts of the city every day. From the city, they go to the rural parts of Jharkhand to conduct this training program, and they were answering questions. They were making the girls understand what this is about and how to take care of themselves better, make them understand how they should practice safe disposal practices. They also were empowering them, making them learn pranayama like bhastrika. They were making them learn mudras, which would be beneficial in dealing with cramps during menstruation. They were making them learn simple meditation techniques, which would help them manage their mood swings. And it was really amazing that with really a very low cost, no cost model, we are able to touch the lives of so many girls. So here in this project, we believe that with support from volunteers from across the world, we will be able to reach out to the girls who need this information the most in a very, very low cost model. And that's what we've been doing so far. And going ahead, like I said earlier, we want to add more modules to the project, add more modules, train our trainers on more modules that can be taken to the girls. And we also want to reach out to more geography, especially in Africa, Nepal, and other parts of Southeast Asia.
I realized I was just on mute. Such phenomenal work has been done since the launch of the project, and we are coming up to 1 year mark, and we have, the project team has made such a tremendous difference. Some of the stats that you mentioned were just mind blowing. So with this, shall we open up for Q&A? If anybody has any questions that they would like to ask to Karuna Didi, Project Pavitra team, Sakshi, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. If you are too shy, we also have the private question basket, which is the group chat or the private chat on Zoom. Feel free to ask questions.
Hi, this is Shruti here. I'm joining this for the very first time. So can I just understand what is, what's the objective in terms of the engagement, or what is it that the support that's required from us here? Yeah, so what are the different ways we can help and support? That's what I wanted to understand.
Sure. Sakshi, shall I take this and you can add?
Yes, sure, Didi.
All right. Hi, Shruti.
Hello, sorry, I had muted myself.
Okay. There are several ways in which people can support us. The first and the most important way is in our awareness raising initiative, because what we do want is to leverage the power of social media to empower girls to start feeling comfortable about speaking about period, so that these myths can be dispelled. So we want to run online campaigns, because we realize that not speaking about period is not something which happens only in rural India. It also happens in urban India, and there are girls and women who need a positive messaging about their bodies and about feeling at peace and ease with their bodies and accepting their bodies and taking care of their bodies. So the first thing in which people can support us is being part of awareness raising campaigns which we can drive on using social media. The second very real need we have right now is for creating more trainers. What we have done so far in the last 1 year is we have managed to use Zoom call and technology to reach out to Art of Living volunteers and create trainers. And we've realized that there are only so many women who can be reached out through WhatsApp and Facebook, and who have the capacity and the capability to attend a teacher training program online on a Zoom call. There are so many more Yuvacharyas, our YLTP teachers, our rural teachers in India. We have over, as you know, we have over 19,000 Art of Living teachers in India, and a big percentage of them are women. We want to create more Pavitra trainers, and we need to travel. So what we've done is we've come up with this model where the central team is creating master trainers around 4 to 8 master trainers in every state in India who can then travel to smaller districts within their state and create live train the trainer workshops to create more volunteers, because our aspiration is to reach out to 5 lakh girls, 500,000 girls in the next 1 year. And to do that, we've realized that we need from 1400 plus volunteers, we need to uh, reach to at least 4500 plus trainers. So right now we are looking for a little bit of money, some funds to sponsor the travel for the master trainers to be able to go to smaller districts to create these the new trainers. The third thing which we are looking for is we would really like to distribute menstrual care kits to participants, especially in tribal parts of the country and really poor neighborhoods where girls and women are not in a position to spend 30 rupees to 45 rupees on a packet of sanitary napkin, because we want to ensure that through these trainings we can bring about a behavior change. And that behavior change could be about using cloth more hygienically. It could also be about using low cost, safe, environmentally friendly sanitary napkins. And to introduce a new habit, we've realized, and a lot of studies support this, that initially if you give for 3 to 5 months, if you give sanitary napkins for free and you organize regular follow-ups, then within 6 months it is observed that a change in behavior happens. So we want to conduct these pilot studies where we want to adopt certain geographies, especially in very, very low income communities and schools in really low income communities, where we adopt an institution which has about 400 to 500 adolescent girls, and there we conduct regular follow-ups, we distribute menstrual care kits, we distribute information and educational material, handouts, booklets, and we can go back and conduct a knowledge attitude practices study to understand the impact of what we've done. So those are three real needs we have. First is awareness raising using social media. Second is funds for traveling, for creating more Pavitra trainers. And third is for pilot projects for distributing menstrual care kits for girls.
Hi, my name is Amal. I just wanted, it's amazing what you guys are doing. I have a suggestion. So instead of giving sanitary packages and all of that, nowadays everybody, at least in the US, is a very big thing, is using a cup. And the cup is made out of silicone and it's washable and reusable and it lasts for a very, very long time. And it's much more environmental friendly because you don't have to use the toxic material that is built into sanitary napkins, and also then you have the disposable part to take care of in such rural areas. So maybe looking into those cups might be a suggestion.
Thank you so much, Amar. Thanks for sharing that. We, since in the program, we base it on knowledge of Ayurveda and yoga as well. We've been advised by the Ayurveda doctors and physicians here in the Art of Living Ayurveda Hospital, and practitioners who are part of the Art of Living community. They have advised us that using menstrual cup is not very healthy for the woman, because Ayurveda believes that the blood and the toxins that are discharged should leave the body, should not have a sustained contact with the body, because the chances of the toxins re-entering the system are high if you use a menstrual cup. That is the reason we are not promoting menstrual cup on the program. We are only promoting two things majorly. One is advising them on using cloth more hygienically by washing it and drying it in the sun for disinfecting it. And the second thing which we are promoting is environmentally friendly, washable, reusable sanitary napkins, which a lot of organizations and startups have started producing here in India.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I also have one more submission. Of course, adding to what Didi said, there is this one aspect, and another aspect which is also applicable to the use of tampons is that there is this cultural, let's say, a belief where for girls, especially who are not married, any of these products that they're not culturally very acceptable. So although we know that tampons are maybe better and less they use lesser plastic than pads, but their acceptability is not very high in at least this part of the world, which is why this becomes too revolutionary a step for them. So we are taking one step at a time. But yes, I for one would want us to use more environmental friendly products, but then there's always this hitch that we can't really surpass.
Hi, this
Any
is
questions?
Shailen here from UK.
Hi.
I'd like to add to what are the other ways of engagement, and since this project has now 1 year behind it and it's growing so fast, for the aims and the goals that it has, we also need volunteers who can contribute their time and skills in various ways. One of them could be creating graphics or presentations. If somebody has skills and the enthusiasm for networking, we need that. We also need people who are good with media and with PR, social media, and also with awareness. So like since Karunaji mentioned, awareness is a very big part of it. There will be other campaigns of awareness, but also all sorts of skills are welcome. The more the people who work and who can contribute, the farther we can outreach. Yeah.
There any other ways that
Absolutely.
we
I
can join?
couldn't agree more.
And people could choose to do as much and as little as they can, along with the busy lives we all have. You could uh, contribute an hour a week or a couple of hours a month, and we could support you with raw data, with research remotely. And if you wanted to get into writing for this, we need articles to be circulated on social media, on Art of Living Global website. We need writers, we need graphic designers. If you are good at making films, we have wonderful footage, raw footage from the field, which we can share with volunteers who can stitch something together. Uh, there are lots of ways in which you could support.
So just building on that question, is there anything that has been prepared already? So I'm assuming that if you are looking at social media content, that's more from the urban population, where they have access to internet and handheld devices or laptops. So is there anything that has been initiated already? While we were talking, I'm just looking through some apps. Are there any apps to that effect? I couldn't find very many. I downloaded one which was also very content heavy, and um, so I just want to know if there's anything that has been progressed already.
From the Art of Living team, we haven't created any app at the moment, but it sounds like a really nice idea. What we have done is we have created some tools, like we introduce menstrual diary and the habit of journaling to the girls in workshops. We also have created some informational material, some handouts, as well as some write-ups which we have circulated. But we do need to do a lot more on this.
Hi, Karuna. Arpita here. Sorry. Hi. Since you good point that was raised by Shruti, because even I was thinking that if you're trying to target rural India, and obviously they will not have internet connectivity, and social media could be a medium to try and communicate with the urban, young population. For rural India, you mentioned that I'm sure you would be doing some kind of leaflets and diaries. But a valid point, and this is an insight which I mean, from my experience, is that it has to be in their regional languages, because if it's only in Hindi or in English, it's of no use.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. What we've done so far is in the geographies where a lot of Pavitra trainings are happening. We have been very lucky to find kind volunteers who've translated all the course material in the regional language. And I just want to clarify that when we say we need volunteers for social media campaigns, it is not just about raising awareness for the need uh, for good menstrual health and hygiene practices in the country and enabling girls to start having conversations. We also need awareness raising campaigns to be able to attract more volunteers who can get trained as facilitators and spread this knowledge. So, most of our volunteers at the moment, although we are very fortunate to have many rural art of living teachers and volunteers on the team, but a very fascinating trend which we've noticed in the last 1 year is many of our urban volunteers are taking to the cause, and they travel to urban slums and rural parts near their towns and cities for this service project, and we can reach out to them through social media. In the villages, we are in the process of creating culturally sensitive communication materials. We are planning interesting things like padyatras with girls. So in India, if you've been reading about what has been done in the Swachh Bharat campaign, about Clean India campaign, which was launched by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. So within that, there have been lots of community initiatives, rallies, and girls walking with banners in the villages and asking the parents to construct toilets and saying no to using toilet outside. So similarly, we're planning some engaging ways in which we can create mass awareness about paying attention to good menstrual health and hygiene practices. So we are planning that, and for that also, if we can get some inputs from designers, from writers, it will be very welcome.
Another thought, I mean, this is just because I remember when I was in college, I don't know how, but I still remember being a part of something similar where we used to go and distribute. We had sponsorship from Johnson and Johnson, and it used to only be Carefree, and we used to try and distribute samples, and educate young girls. I'm not sure if they are still doing it, but I mean, the thing that comes to my mind is that tying up with schools, like the municipal schools and things like that, and trying to get a session with the young girls, especially in year 6, 7, 8, 9. And then giving them a leaflet, and also if there can be some kind of sampling, it really helps. It's just
Yes,
a thought.
yes, yes. We've tried that, and it does work. Thanks for sharing. And Johnson and Johnson and other organizations who are into manufacturing and sanitary napkins, they do want to partner with organizations, but as Art of Living, we are very conscious of who we partner with, because like Sakshi mentioned earlier, our program is not just about selling napkins. Our program has wider objectives. We are introducing how yoga and Ayurveda can help you to look after your body better. And we are really looking out for more sustainable sanitary products. So that's something which we haven't done right now. It is very easy to get into a partnership with a huge giant like Procter and Gamble, but we've been shying away from doing that right now.
So with 10 minutes remaining into the call, we talked about how everybody can get involved. From if you have any skill sets that you would like to offer, may it be creative graphics, may it be writing an article, making a short video documentary, sharing on social media awareness campaigns, all sorts of help and skill sets are welcome for this project. With this, Shailene, I know that there is a campaign that is being organized with Global Giving, and it's about to start next week. So would you like to talk more about it?
Sure. So this project is obviously an Art of Living project in India and in Africa, but IAHV, which is the service wing, International Association of Human Values, it's the service wing of Art of Living, which does various humanitarian projects. I believe most of us know that, whether it is for children or for women or for veterans and prison inmates and refugees, everywhere where there is a need. So this organization has taken up a campaign for 2 weeks, 1 week on either side of the International Women's Day, which is 8th of March. So this campaign is basically a competition where 156 different charities or causes are participating. And on 8th of March, donations will be matched to 30% extra donations by a third party funder. And there will be 4 winners out of this 156, which is where we want to be. Our aim is to be a winner of this campaign. And these 4 winners will get a monthly contribution of a handsome amount every month for 12 months. So there is a big aspect of recognition as well as funding as well as awareness. And we have this campaign starting next week where we would invite everybody on the call to be part of, and globally we can support the team on the ground by just being part of it, by spreading the word, spreading awareness. And we have collaterals which are getting ready for the campaign. So we will give you all the material, and obviously you are welcome to give your suggestions and contribute in your own way. And what we can do is I would invite all the callers on the call today to give their email address to Dhwani, or you can email it to Pavitra, Pavitra at iahv.org.uk. Dhwani, maybe you can type that in the chat, or you can leave your email contact also on the chat here. That way we can circulate the details of the campaign to everybody. And you would get our contact also. So I would invite everybody to be part of that, and then on the way we will learn more about it, and we can work together and support this. That's about it, the campaign. And the campaign is hosted by globalgiving.com, which is we have IHV has a more than 2 years long relationship with them. They are a very good company who support causes like ours.
So Shailene, we'll have the criteria for these this particular campaign to get to the top 4 would also be available in the content that you send us.
Yes, actually I forgot to mention it. The criteria of the top 4 winning is by maximum number of donations. So we would have appeals where we can even say, hey, donate the cost of 1 coffee to the cause. So it could be just as little as $3. But the objective here is not to ask everybody on the call to put a hand in their pockets. The objective is to just be a medium and spread the word, so we reach out to more people.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just say that the campaign, the top 4, is for the maximum number of donors. It's not about how much money we are raising, it's how many people are donating for the cause. So the number of donors will help us win the campaign.
Sure.
That means we have a very good chance, because if we all come together and all our networks pool in, we have a very good chance.
Oh yes, and I would like to add one more thing, that a lot has been said about that this cause or this issue is that of the biology and it's very natural and all that. So I think that this is not just for the women, this is also for the men, the whole awareness side of it, to understand exactly the same, that it's a natural biological process, because men also contribute to the taboo or the stigma associated with it. So for me, how I understand being a man is that this cause appeals directly to 100% of the population of this planet.
Definitely. In fact, I should have mentioned it while I was briefing that it is in our minds that, since not, of course, the part that you mentioned, and also because they are, especially in India, they are stakeholders in terms of the product decisions as well. So in fact, it's a very important point of the advocacy agenda, that the males, because they're influencers as far as products and health decisions are concerned. Therefore, it's very, very important that men are also included in the awareness program. Thank you for bringing that up. That's very important.
Sure.
Any other questions we might have for the team? So it's 9:30 p.m. in India. We thank you so much, Karuna Didi and Sakshi, for joining us this late and sharing all the inspiring work that the team has been doing. Thank you, everyone from across the world joining us, and let's make a noise about this.
Yes.
Thank you so much.